Did you know The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air wasn't even based on Will Smith's real life? Or that one of the cast's strangest traditions involved a secret burn book filled with on-set gossip? From a cab driver whose true identity still remains a mystery, to the shocking reason why Jazz kept getting thrown out of that front door, there's a darker, weirder side to this 90s classic that's been buried for decades. These are the 15 weird secrets hidden for years that even die-hard fans never saw coming. What really happened behind Uncle Phil's mansion doors? Let's find out. The idea for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air didn't come from Hollywood executives. It began with music manager Benny Medina in 1990. Medina, along with his partner Jeff Pollock, pitched a TV show inspired by his own life growing up in East Los Angeles. As a teenager, Benny's life changed dramatically when he moved in with a wealthy white family in Beverly Hills. The experience gave him a new perspective on class, culture, and identity, one that he knew could make for powerful television. But Medina didn't want to recycle the old story of a black kid navigating life with a white family. Instead, he flipped the script. He reimagined the show with a rich black family at its center, allowing it to explore class divisions and social expectations within the black community itself. That fresh twist was the birth of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yet the story behind Will Smith's casting was just as surprising. When the opportunity came along, Will wasn't chasing fame, he was running from debt. At the time, he owed the IRS nearly $2.8 million in back taxes after his rap career with DJ Jazzy Jeff hit a downturn. Their hit album, He's the DJ, I'm the Rapper, had gone triple platinum, and the young star thought his future was set. He spent lavishly, cars, designer clothes, and luxuries galore, but forgot one crucial thing: to pay his taxes. Then came a turning point. During a casual visit to the Arsenio Hall show, Will's girlfriend encouraged him to meet a man named Benny Medina, the real-life inspiration behind the show's premise. Medina pitched his idea, but Will was hesitant. "I'm not an actor," he told him. Medina replied, "That's okay. I want you to meet Quincy Jones." A few days later, Will found himself at a party at Quincy Jones's house, a gathering that would change his life. Quincy had already heard about the show and saw something in the young rapper. "Hey man, I saw your music videos," he told him. "They call you the Fresh Prince, right? Good. That's what we'll call the show." Then, without warning, Quincy handed him a script and said, "You've got 10 minutes. Audition now or wait a week and risk losing everything." Will hesitated, but chose to take the chance. 10 minutes later, he was performing in front of NBC executives, and they were blown away. Quincy immediately called for contracts to be drawn up right there in his driveway. "You got a lawyer?" Quincy asked. "Man," Will joked, "if I had a lawyer taking 5%, he'd owe me money right now." Within hours, the deal for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was signed inside a limousine parked outside Quincy's house. 3 months later, production began on the pilot episode. And just like that, a broke 21-year-old rapper who owed millions to the IRS became one of television's most beloved stars, the real-life Prince of Bel-Air. The truth was, Will Smith's new beginning came with a heavy price. For the first 3 years of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the IRS allegedly took 70% of his paycheck to settle his massive back taxes. So yes, Will got his fresh start, but Uncle Sam was the one who really cashed in first. It was far from the glamorous Hollywood comeback it appeared to be. And if that sounds rough, things behind the scenes weren't much better. The show's famous laughter hid some very real tension, especially in the writer's room. According to a 2017 New Yorker profile of writer Gingy Cohen, working on The Fresh Prince was a total nightmare. Cohen described the writer's room as a toxic battleground, a place filled with constant arguments, punishingly long hours, and chaotic staff dynamics. To make matters worse, Will Smith's own cousin and bodyguard were part of the writing team, which only fueled more friction and power struggles. And then there were the pranks, some of them cruel. In one infamous incident, a staffer reportedly urinated in a coworker's tequila bottle as a joke. For Cohan, one of only 2 women on the writing staff, and the only white woman, the atmosphere was even more hostile. She was given an offensive nickname that mocked both her race and religion. It was a harsh reminder that the fun of the show didn't always exist off-screen. But if the writer's room was chaotic, the cast drama was even more explosive. The most notorious feud was between Will Smith and Janet Hubert, the show's original Aunt Viv. On screen, she was his toughest defender, a proud, intelligent matriarch who balanced the family with strength and grace. But off-screen, things couldn't have been more different. "I think he was young and inexperienced," Hubert later said in an interview, "and I think he simply had to win." By the time season 4 rolled around, Hubert was gone, replaced without explanation. Rumors swirled that she'd been fired for being difficult, and gossip spread that she and Will hadn't spoken for years. Alfonso Ribeiro, who played Carlton, claimed the rest of the cast had a great working relationship, except with Hubert. "I had an amazing time working with Will, with Tatiana, with James, with Karen. Everybody was great. First mom? Not so much," he said. "There were days she'd go off on people, and by the second season we were like, this is unacceptable. We felt like the Fresh Prince was a family, but she didn't feel like part of it." Hubert, however, saw it very differently. "Jan Hubert was never difficult on that set. I was so professional it wasn't even funny," she countered. "Will simply needed to win. And when you get caught up in a lie, those things take on a life of their own." She later revealed that she had pleaded with the production years later to clear her name. "I went back to them in 2009 and said, 'Please, I need you to tell the world this stuff didn't happen. My father died. My brother died. I begged them. I said, I have a family. I need the truth to come out.' But nobody ever did." When Daphne Maxwell Reid stepped into the role in season 4, fans immediately noticed the difference. The new Aunt Viv was softer, quieter, and noticeably more passive. The fiery, ambitious woman who once stood up to Uncle Phil and guided her children with strength had faded into the background. She quit teaching, stayed home, and played a smaller role in the show's central stories. The spark that once made her unforgettable was gone, and instead of fueling Phil's ambitions, she now seemed tired of them. For many fans, it was the moment the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air lost something vital: the fearless energy of the original Aunt Viv and the powerful chemistry that once defined the Banks family. In 2020, after nearly 3 decades of silence and resentment, Janet Hubert and Will Smith finally came face to face. The long-awaited reunion happened during an NPR interview, where the two opened up about years of misunderstanding and pain. Hubert began the conversation with a confession that set the tone for what was to come. "I felt like you hated me," she told Will, her voice steady but emotional. She then explained what had really happened back in the early 1990s. She hadn't been fired from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, as everyone assumed. Instead, she had been offered a contract that drastically reduced her pay and limited her role on the show. When she refused, the producers recast her with Daphne Maxwell Reid. At the same time, Hubert was enduring serious personal struggles, including an abusive marriage, which only made the professional turmoil harder to bear. She spoke candidly about how those years nearly broke her spirit. "You took all that away from me," she told Will, "with your words. You know, words can kill. I lost everything, my reputation, everything. And I understand you were able to move forward, but calling a black woman difficult in Hollywood, that's the kiss of death." She paused, then added softly, "It's already hard enough being a dark-skinned black woman in this business. But I felt it was necessary for us to finally move forward." Will listened, clearly remorseful. He admitted that during the show's early years, he had been overwhelmed by sudden fame and youth, and had handled the situation poorly. The moment became one of genuine reconciliation, something fans had waited decades to witness. For viewers, it was like watching two icons finally lay old wounds to rest. "I could not do a 30-year celebration of this show and not celebrate you," Will told her, voice trembling. "Celebrate your contribution to this show. Celebrate your contribution to my life. Come here." The emotional exchange marked a turning point. Not just for them, but for everyone who had grown up loving the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But beyond the off-screen drama, the show itself often reached emotional depths that surprised audiences. One unforgettable example was the episode Papa's Got a Brand New Excuse, where Will's character confronts the pain of being abandoned by his father after 14 long years. The reunion between Will and his on-screen dad collapses when the man leaves again, sparking a raw, heart-wrenching scene between Will and Uncle Phil. When Will's character broke down crying, shouting, "How come he don't want me, man?" the emotion was so real that many believed it came from his own life. But that wasn't true. In reality, Will Smith had a solid relationship with his father. His parents simply wanted him to go to college instead of pursuing music. The heartbreak audiences felt came not from his real life, but from his extraordinary ability as an actor. That scene wasn't scripted word for word. Will ad-libbed much of it, channeling pure emotion. The audience was in tears, the crew was silent, and the moment became one of the most powerful in television history. Will would later reveal that he owed that performance to James Avery, the man behind Uncle Phil. "You know, he was off 'cause we were rehearsing and everything," Will recalled. "And then it comes to the moment, and we're in the scene together, right? I'm messing up the lines 'cause I want it so bad. We're in front of the audience and I'm furious. And he holds on me. He says, 'Hey, relax. It's already in there. You know what it is.'" Avery guided him through the moment, reminding him to stop performing and start feeling. He said, "Look at me. Use me. Don't act around me, act with me." So I got it together. I did the scene and he hugged me at the end. And while he's hugging me, he whispers in my ear, "That's acting right there." Just when audiences thought they couldn't love Uncle Phil anymore, the truth about James Avery's real-life bond with the cast made him even more unforgettable. "We've been very blessed," Avery once said. "I don't know if our careers are going to continue. We'll go on to other things, but this has been the best experience, in terms of a TV show, in terms of people and friends." From day one, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air wasn't just a workplace. It was a family. The chemistry viewers saw on screen came directly from the warmth and closeness that developed among the cast and crew. Will Smith often referred to his co-stars as siblings, and that genuine affection gave the series its heart. But in 2013, the family lost its cornerstone. James Avery passed away, leaving behind a legacy that stretched far beyond the screen. For everyone who worked on the show, he was the glue that held them together. James was a big teddy bear, one cast member recalled. He was a teacher, someone you could always go to for advice. Avery wasn't just their fictional father. He was a real mentor and protector to those around him. "This is my daughter," he once joked on set. "You mess with her, you mess with me." "I will hurt you, okay?" Will Smith, in particular, often spoke of Avery with deep reverence. He was a massive rock of a man, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, Will said. Even years after his death, Uncle Phil's presence remains deeply felt. He was more than the tough but loving dad America adored. He was that same man behind the scenes, too. On a lighter note, few fans know that Will once tried to ask out Karen Parsons, who played his on-screen cousin, Hilary Banks. During the early days of filming, the young star tested his charm, but Karen wasn't having it. "If I had to choose, all right, Will, it's like, leave me alone," she laughed. Will later admitted she made the right call. Staying friends allowed them to build a better working relationship without the awkwardness that romance might have caused. He even joked about it years later, saying, "Maybe if she'd said yes, I wouldn't have had to go through all those entanglements in my life." Still, that sense of playfulness defined the Fresh Prince both on and off the set, though the show itself nearly didn't make it that far. Few realized that The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was actually canceled after season 4. In 1994, after airing the Philadelphia story, NBC believed the series had run its course, but fans weren't ready to say goodbye. Letters flooded the network and even reached Will himself, begging for more episodes. The outpouring of love worked. NBC reversed its decision, giving the show 2 more seasons. By the time season 6 rolled around, the cast knew the end was near. Joseph Marcel, who played Jeffrey, announced he was returning to the UK, and everyone felt it was time to close the chapter for good. Interestingly, the showrunners had written the finales of seasons 3, 4, and 5 as potential endings, just in case the series wasn't renewed. But season 6 marked the true farewell. Even as ratings dipped slightly, the emotional impact of the finale cemented The Fresh Prince as one of television's most beloved sitcoms. Yet just when fans thought the show was sealed in TV history forever, a new chapter began. Will Smith once joked that a reboot would only happen when hell freezes over. But in 2019, that moment came sooner than anyone expected. It all started when filmmaker Morgan Cooper released a fan-made trailer reimagining the series as a darker, more dramatic story titled Bel-Air. 10 years is a long time, the trailer teased. Let me show you, Hillary. The short film went viral overnight, catching the attention of Will Smith himself. Impressed by the vision, he reached out, and within months, a deal was on the table. By 2020, streaming giants like Netflix, HBO Max, and NBC's Peacock were in a bidding war for the project. Peacock won, ordering 2 full seasons of Bel-Air on September 8, 2020. Fast forward to today, Bel-Air is now in its 3rd season, and fans can't get enough. The reboot has reimagined the original story with modern depth and drama, giving the beloved characters new life while keeping the heart of the show intact. But there are plenty of strange, little-known facts about The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air that even die-hard fans might have missed. Behind the laughter and family-friendly moments, the cast had their fair share of secrets, and some of them are downright bizarre. The cast kept a secret gossip diary. One of the strangest involved what the crew called the Gossip Diary. Long before Mean Girls made burn books famous, the cast and crew of The Fresh Prince kept a real-life version hidden on set. Tucked away inside a kitchen drawer on the Banks family's iconic set, the diary became an open space where anyone, from actors to camera operators, could anonymously write their thoughts. The entries ranged from light-hearted jokes and silly poems to genuine complaints about co-workers. One writer famously scrawled, "James is getting on my nerves," a reference to James Avery, who played Uncle Phil. Over the show's 6-year run from 1990 to 1996, the diary captured everything from behind-the-scenes tensions to playful banter. When the series wrapped, Karen Parsons, Hillary Banks, rescued the book as a keepsake. Years later, she confirmed in interviews that it really existed, proving that The Fresh Prince had its own burn book long before Mean Girls made it cool. Will Smith visibly mouthed everyone's lines. Another lesser-known tidbit involves Will Smith's early acting struggles. Being new to television, Smith wanted to be perfect. To impress the crew, he memorized not just his lines, but the entire script. Every episode, every character. The problem? During filming, he would unconsciously mouth his co-stars' lines while they delivered them. The habit is visible in several early episodes, most notably Season 1, Episode 5, Homeboy, Sweet Homeboy, where you can see him silently reciting Don Cheadle's dialogue. His co-stars Karen Parsons and Tatiana Ali never let him live it down, and Smith himself later admitted during a 2017 appearance on The Graham Norton Show that he can't even watch those first episodes because of it. Eventually, he relaxed into his role, but those early teleprompter moments remain immortalized on film. Jazz's ejection was shot 150 times. Then there's the story behind one of the show's most iconic running gags, Jazz getting thrown out of the house. Every fan remembers Uncle Phil launching him through the front door, but few know how grueling it was to film. DJ Jazzy Jeff, who played Jazz, had to perform that stunt over 150 times in a single day to get the perfect take. The repeated falls left him bruised and sore, and after that, he refused to do the scene again. To spare him further punishment, the production team decided to reuse the same footage for the rest of the series. That's why, if you look closely, Jazz is always wearing the same brown and white Aztec shirt every time he's thrown out. It didn't matter what he was wearing inside the house. When Uncle Phil sent him flying, it was always the same recycled clip. The cab driver's identity remains a mystery. One of the most curious unsolved mysteries in television history involves a character who appears for only a few seconds, the cab driver from the opening credits of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He's the man who drops Will off at the bank's mansion and famously shouts, "Smell you later," before driving away. For more than 30 years, fans have tried to uncover who that actor was. Many have long assumed it was none other than Quincy Jones, the legendary producer and executive behind the show. The theory made sense. Jones helped launch The Fresh Prince, appeared in the pilot, and had a playful sense of humor that matched the moment. But those closest to the production have repeatedly debunked the rumor. DJ Jazzy Jeff, Rashida Jones, and Jada Pinkett Smith have all confirmed that the cab driver was not Quincy Jones. Surprisingly, even the production records from 1990 offer no clues. The role was so minor that no name was listed in the official call sheets or casting logs. Whoever he was, the man wore sunglasses throughout the brief scene, concealing his face just enough to make identification nearly impossible. Most believe he was a day player or background extra, hired for a single day and forgotten once filming Wrapped. The Carlton dance came from two sources. The Carlton dance, one of television's most recognizable moves, wasn't something dreamed up in a choreography session. It was born out of pure creativity and comedy. Actor Alfonso Ribeiro came up with it himself, blending two unlikely inspirations to create the hilariously awkward style that defined Carlton Banks. When the script for The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air simply read, "Carlton Dances," Ribeiro had complete freedom to decide what that would look like, so he drew from two very different places, Courtney Cox and Eddie Murphy. The first influence came from Cox's appearance in Bruce Springsteen's 1984 music video, Dancing in the Dark. In it, she's pulled on stage from the audience and dances with an endearing stiffness, enthusiastic but totally offbeat. Ribeiro immediately saw Carlton in that energy. The second source came from Eddie Murphy's comedy special, Delirious, where Murphy poked fun at the stereotypical white man dance, the kind with flailing arms, no rhythm, and plenty of confidence. Ribeiro found the bit hilarious and decided to merge Murphy's exaggerated awkwardness with Cox's cheerful energy. The result was unforgettable, a dance so corny, so joyfully out of step that it became an instant classic. Set to Tom Jones's It's Not Unusual, the Carlton dance became one of the most iconic moments in television history. And decades later, Ribeiro was still performing it proudly, even bringing it back during his 2014 win on Dancing with the Stars. The show became Guantanamo Bay's favorite. In one of the most unexpected cultural twists of 2012, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air became an unlikely favorite in one of the world's most controversial places, the Guantanamo Bay detention facility in Cuba. According to Milton, a Defense Department contractor who served as the prison's librarian, Will Smith's 1990s sitcom wasn't just popular. It was the most requested show among the 168 detainees held there at the time. For years, the Harry Potter films had dominated entertainment requests, their themes of confinement and freedom resonating deeply with prisoners. But by 2012, the boy wizard had been dethroned. In his place rose a new champion, the Fresh Prince himself, whose light-hearted adventures from West Philadelphia to Bel Air struck an unexpected chord behind the prison's heavily guarded walls. The show's popularity soared to the point that Milton ordered all 6 seasons on DVD to keep up with demand. Through the facility's entertainment system, which offered 18,000 books, 2,730 movies, 390 video games, and 1,000 magazines, detainees could watch Will's story unfold either in communal viewing rooms, where televisions were protected by plexiglass, or privately in their cells, depending on security clearance. For the staff, television served as a way to maintain morale among inmates. For the prisoners, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air offered something more, a brief escape into humor, family, and freedom, far from the reality of life inside Guantanamo Bay. Nike created laceless Jordans, inspired by Will. Will Smith's unique sneaker style on the Fresh Prince of Bel Air became so memorable that nearly 3 decades later, Nike decided to turn it into history. Throughout the show's 6 seasons, Smith's character was often seen rocking Air Jordan 5s, usually in the bold purple and white grape colorway, but always without laces. It wasn't just a random fashion choice. It perfectly captured the Fresh Prince's laid-back confidence and rebel cool, setting him apart from the polished world of Bel Air. In September 2018, Jordan Brand paid tribute to that signature look with a limited edition release called The Fresh Prince. Designed to be worn exactly the way Smith did on the show, the sneakers came without lace eyelets, forcing wearers to slip them on just like Will. The shoes featured subtle nods to the series, West Philadelphia, embossed on the tongue, graffiti-style Air Jordan insoles, and bright retro colors inspired by the 1990s aesthetic that defined the show. Released on Will Smith's 50th birthday, the sneakers became an instant hit among sneaker collectors and fans alike, a stylish reminder of how the Fresh Prince's effortless swagger left its mark not only on television, but on pop culture itself. The mansion isn't actually in Bel Air. Despite its title, the Banks family mansion from the Fresh Prince of Bel Air was never actually in Bel Air. The grand white-columned house seen in the show's opening and transition shots is located in Brentwood, another upscale Los Angeles neighborhood about 8 miles away. The producers made the switch for purely practical reasons. They needed a home that truly captured the look and feel of success, something elegant, aspirational, and unmistakably Bel Air in spirit. The Brentwood property had it all: a pristine lawn, stately columns, and that classic colonial architecture that instantly signaled wealth and prestige. Geographically, it might have been a stretch, but visually, it was perfect. Few viewers ever realized the mansion wasn't in Bel Air, and even fewer cared. After all, the Fresh Prince of Brentwood just wouldn't have had the same charm. In the end, the decision paid off. That elegant facade became one of television's most iconic homes, a timeless symbol of the Fresh Prince's unlikely rise from West Philadelphia to the good life in Bel Air. Uncle Phil's law firm was a musical pun. The writers of The Fresh Prince of Bel Air had a knack for clever details, and one of their best jokes was hiding in plain sight: the name of Uncle Phil's law firm. Throughout the series, Philip Banks was said to work at the firm Firth, Wynn, and Meyer, a name that sounded perfectly respectable and professional. But if you say it out loud, the punchline reveals itself: Earth, Wind, and Fire. The subtle wordplay was a nod to the legendary funk and R&B group famous for classics like September, Boogie Wonderland, and Let's Groove. It wasn't just a clever pun. It was a tribute to the band's joyful energy and its influence on black culture, creativity, and pride. Most viewers never caught the hidden reference. But for those who did, it was a brilliant Easter egg. A small, witty reminder that The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was as much about celebrating music, heritage, and identity as it was about laughter. Google created a secret Fresh Prince Easter egg. Decades after The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air left television, the show found a new way to surprise fans, this time online. In September 2020, to celebrate the sitcom's 30th anniversary, Google unveiled a hidden Easter egg that turned its entire search page into a burst of 1990s nostalgia. When users typed Fresh Prince of Bel-Air into the search bar and clicked the California license plate that appeared on the screen, everything changed. The normally minimalist Google interface suddenly exploded into graffiti-style fonts, neon colors, and playful references to the show's most iconic moments. The page even displayed fake search results filled with Fresh Prince inside jokes, sound effects, and unforgettable quotes. It wasn't just a quick animation. It was a fully interactive tribute, a digital love letter to one of television's most beloved sitcoms. The Easter egg quickly went viral across social media, proving that even after 3 decades, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air still knew exactly how to make an entrance. Even after more than 3 decades, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air continues to surprise fans with secrets, stories, and hidden gems that make us love it even more. From on-set mysteries to clever Easter eggs and cultural twists, the show's legacy proves it was far more than just a 90s sitcom. It was a moment in television history that still lives on today. Which of these weird secrets shocked you the most? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more behind-the-scenes stories and hidden facts from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, 1990, and other iconic shows you grew up with.